KTM 1290 Super Adventure S. Yeah, baby! What a beautiful day! Hey reviewers, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys have been well, and if you're new here, thanks for checking us out. Today we're unveiling one of our new dealership agreements with P&H Motorcycles over in Crawley. It's one that I've known about for a long time, and for obvious reasons we couldn't do any reviews because everywhere was closed. But now we're back open again. I'm so pleased to kick off this relationship, and what a bike to do it with. Today we are reviewing the 2021 KTM 1290 Super Adventure S. What an epic machine. Cards on the table, guys. I haven't actually tested one of these before, so this is very much going to be a as I see it review. But so far, looks wise, absolutely amazing. I love the look of it, and comfort wise, I've just sat right on it, and as you know, I'm a big guy. It is very comfortable. Is it more comfortable than my bike? Yes, it is. It actually is, which is always a worrying thing because I'm already half sold on one of these bikes. But I'll tell you what we're going to do, guys. We're going to take it for a quick spin down here. I'm going to stop. I'm going to talk you around the bike and what's new, features, functions, all of the gadgetry. Talk about a bit of the pricing as well, and then we'll take it for a proper spin. And I'll talk to you about how the features work in practice. A couple of blips down there. Now this has the slipper clutch as standard, but this one also has the optional quick shifter as well, which for a £350 option is definitely worth having, I would say, 100%. Right, let's go on to a couple of twisties before we stop. Woohoo! What a day for it! What a beautiful day! Just initial impressions before we stop. I thought when I got on this bike it was going to be a bit overwhelming, even for a big lad like me. I thought it's going to seem like this massive adventure bike, and handling is going to be a bit tricky, but it really isn't. It's really nimble, but not only is it nimble, it's confidence inspiring. This just carves its way around, no fuss. Right guys, we're just going to change cameras and do a bit of a walk around for you, talk through the equipment, features, functions, and then we'll get on with the ride. Right then guys, so I mentioned this has got an adjustable seat and it's got two positions. Now because it's keyless entry on this bike, you access it by pushing this button here. Up she comes, toolkit in there, and then right, to change the position, because I wanted to try this then, you literally lift this out as far as I'm aware. Right, so with these notches here, you must lift it up to fit the right one, then you slide it, okay? So I'm going to try for the higher position, he says. Right. So we've done that. You can now see it's in the high position here. Make sure that's sat down. Then we're going to put this back in. So you just slide it under and she's in. So I'll make sure that's all locked in. Yeah, we're good. Right, okay, so that's now in its higher position. Yeah, so you can see if it was lower, it'd be down here. Yeah, so there's the seat in a high positioning, guys. I'm going to try it out when we get back on the bike and I'll let you know what it feels like, but I think it's going to be just perfect actually, because I do feel like for me the lower position was probably a little bit too low. Speaking of seat options then, and we're not going to run through them all now, but do check it out if you're going to build this bike. There are 11 options for the seats, so go check them out. You've got heated, non-heated, cold, slim, tall, more comfortable, so yeah, check them out. But yeah, seated position absolutely spot on, and I'll try that extra height and see how it works out. Coming on to the frame then, so this is their steel tubular frame design and it has been updated for 2021. Now, the weight of it is 220 kilograms dry, and fuel you're looking around 240. The way that they've adjusted it as well then is the centre headstock here has been moved back by 15mm. What they've also done is extend the swing arm by 15mm. So what you've got is a more balanced ride there, and KTM say it's their best frame yet. So I tend to agree with them on my short ride. It is very, very responsive. Coming on to the suspension then, you've got semi-electronic adjustable suspension, front and rear, and this is by WP Apex. I have had to play with the settings on there and we'll do a bit more on the ride, but so far, absolutely incredible. The difference between sport, street, and road mode and comfort, yeah, fantastic. So it's 43mm USD forks at the front, and there's your WP Apex at the back. In terms of the brakes then, so these are the Brembo Stylema calipers, and it's 320mm disc at the front and it's 267 at the back, and also Brembo calipers. So yeah, stopping power wise, massive confidence, nothing to worry about there. Those brakes are tried and proven. Just a bit of detail for you then, you've got the twin radiator set up in here. I'm not sure how well you're going to see that, I'll capture a bit more with photos, but yeah, it just shows they thought about it to distribute the heat a bit better. Engine wise, you probably already know about this one. This is the famous LC8 V-twin by KTM. Now it's 1300cc, 1290, and it produces 160 horsepower and 138 newton meters of torque. And I can assure you, it's just bags of fun. You've got massive power from as low as 2000 RPM. It really, really pulls. Very different to an inline 4-pot. Huge power, so yeah, massively enjoyable. The engine and exhaust setup, it is Euro 5, obviously that's the way things have got to go, but KTM has spent a lot of time engineering their exhaust, so you still get a great sound from it, which you'll hear when we go. And looks wise, you know, yeah, they are big cans, but as far as these go, they're definitely pretty decent looking. I've seen ones that look like this that are Acura, but these aren't. Of course you can get an Acura system for it, but we won't go into that right now. Bit about the looks then before we come on to the lighting system. So you get the hand guards there as standard, and you've got an adjustable screen here, which is pretty awesome. I like this. So just by turning these like so, you can adjust the height, and I think that's a great feature. You can do it on the fly, it's pretty easy. You can set it up to have it how you want. Okay, so lighting wise then, you've got LED lighting front and rear, and if you can see this, this is the radar system for the front. So if you use the adaptive cruise control system that this bike has, that's where it's going to measure the distance between the vehicle in front by pinging it, doing lots of clever technology, and basically managing the distance and the speed. It can even apply the brakes for you as well, so it's all linked. There's the lighting unit in the rear, it's very tidy, LED as well. Something else which is nice to have here, you've got a storage compartment, so you can just open it up, and inside it, if you can see in there, got a charging point. That's pretty cool. The fuel filler cap, now it's now electronics. It comes with a keyless system on the bike. You'll need one of these if you want to make it work, and obviously then it can just pop up. In terms of the switchgear then, not many manufacturers are doing this yet, but KTM are definitely leading the way. You've got illuminated switchgear, which I think is fantastic to have, and it's really well laid out. Now, not just is the switchgear good, but the way that it feels on this bike, they've put a lot of effort into it. It doesn't feel cheap in any way. It feels robust. It actually feels high quality, I would say. Something else that I learned as well, you can actually adjust the traction control on the fly on this bike. So if you imagine you're riding through mixed roads with some bits of dry, some bits of wet, you can actually adjust it to suit. And I thought that was pretty cool actually, especially if you're using it on a track. Again, that's going to be quite a handy feature. Aesthetically, I think the setup here is lovely. Got ready to race on the bars there, which is really nice, all black. There's your electronic suspension setup there as well. Dark brake reservoir at the top there, I think it looks really, really nice. Something else I thought was really good, so obviously you've got your hazards, your start, your ignition here, and obviously throttle, for those who don't know. You've got programmable keys here, which I thought was really cool, programmable switch. So what you can do is you can actually have shortcuts up here, which are user managed, so you can set them to be what you want, but you might want to have different ABS modes, or you might want to have different engine modes or traction modes. So I thought that was really cool to have. So this is the 7-inch TFT screen, and when you start it up, ready to race. That's what you want to see when you get on your bike. I think it's a really great screen. So let's go through some of the features, functions, and yeah, explain in more detail. Now I have to say, this is truly one of the best screens that I've seen so far on any motorbike. In terms of its resolution, I think that looks really, really sharp. Everything can be controlled from here. So the touch of the middle button there, we're going to bring up your main menu if you like, and there's your bike info. Bike information, just want to go into that one. So you've got TPMS, you've got your tyre pressure monitoring system front and rear. You've got obviously water in there, temperature, the range, oil temperature, battery and service. But you can scroll down, just using the hat here. And here's where you can see motorcycle information and the riding modes. I just want to go into those and show you this. So again, just with a switch here, there's your street mode, there's your sport mode, there's your rain mode, and there's your off-road. And you can unlock a track mode as well as an extra if you want that, but entirely up to you on that front. ABS mode also switchable, so you've got road and off-road there as well. And here, MTC, this is going to be your rear wheel slippage allowance. So again, it depends on how much you want to use that or not, but you can change it there and customize. Right, suspension, I'm going to go into this one as well because I want to show you something very, very cool. Now, you can change it just by going through here on the modes. So you've got comfort mode and the sport mode there. Street mode I thought was really good. Comfort is ridiculously good at ironing out the bumps, and I really mean it, but don't take my word for it. UK roads and potholes, it was incredible. It really smooths everything out and you really feel the difference. Now, I've got it on my bike, and would I say it's as good as this? No, I just don't think it was. You really feel the difference here. Now, let me show you something, because this is wicked. So you can adjust the preload. You can do it on the fly when the bike's under power, but can you see the animation here? The bike's also changing, and that is to represent how much that bike is going to change when it's under power. So you can adjust it from 0% all the way up to 100, and as you do, the animation changes and the ride height is going to get higher. So you might want to make it a bit more sporty and run it in 100%, make it a bit taller with the front down. Also, if you want to make it perhaps a bit more, I don't know, friendly to get on, or just a more casual ride, you can lower it right down. So I really, really like that, and it made such a difference to the ride of the bike. I'm going to put it back to 50 because that's where I liked it. And there we are, it's set. Cruise control, this is where you can activate it and also adjust the settings for it. So you've got the radar on the front that I mentioned. I'm just going to go into it really quickly. So you've got sport on there, change it into comfort, CC only, and then you've got the distance. Now you can change it between long and very short, short, middle, etc. So up to you how you want to change the distance on there. I probably would recommend long or very long in this country in case anyone breaks or something silly. So just to play it safe, you can manage the distance. And then here, so you can have the KTM My Ride app on your phone as well. I haven't got it here, but I'll do some cuts to it. You can manage all of your features and functions, or some of them from there as well. And you can obviously connect a phone, have your music on there. You can have turn-by-turn navigation set up, have your headsets paired to it. So I thought that was really, really cool. So this bike's got a 6-speed gearbox, 1 down, 5 up, and it comes with the slipper clutch as standard. However, you might want to add the quick shifter for 350 quid, and I believe also as well there is a Tech Pack Plus. It's the one that's about £1,800, and that gives you all of the toys and all of the bells and whistles, including that slipper clutch, fully adjustable suspension with anti-dive and auto leveling on there as well. So I'd probably recommend that. And just to cover off the pricing on this bike a little bit then as well, this bike starts at $14,999, I believe, in the UK. And that's on the road, and I think that's incredibly well priced, because if you look at its competition without naming names, they are up to £3,000 more expensive to begin with for this particular adventure lineup, and then you can add extra bits on top of that. So I think this offers incredible value for money, because you can add the bits that you want to it without it being super expensive. It's been very aggressively priced by KTM, and to be fair, even if you added all those packs, you're still going to be cheaper than the others, as I mentioned. Of course, it's going to be down to preference, looks, how you think it feels, engine type, all the rest of it, but in terms of value for money, I think it is exceptional. So with that being said, that's probably enough waffling. Let's take it for a ride. Is that startup animation? Ready to race. Right. Bit of manoeuvring and let's get. Right, now before we head off, I'm just going to change some of the modes here. Ride mode, I want that in sport. ABS, yeah, boom. Right, let's get on it. Woo! What a day. What a day for this. Absolutely beautiful. There's a bit of crosswind, guys, so you know, just bear with, hopefully it'll be alright. So I've got the screen set to the highest setting, and I can actually feel the difference of that because I rode it out on a bit lower. Now it's at its max. That's really working. That's a good height actually. I don't think you'd need to do much to that if you were thinking about doing some, you know, serious touring on this bike. That's pretty decent. But you can get a different screen and you can get extended as well, of course. What an absolute beauty. I'm so lucky to be taking this bike out today. And I'm quite seriously tempted about getting one of these myself. Just that acceleration, it is effortless. Effortless, but it's so well behaved as well. Look, so I'm going to keep it in second and just do you know what I mean? It just picks up so easily. You can let it reduce down, yeah, no problem. Very, very smooth. I'm not going to be lucky enough to get no people out on our ride out today, chaps, so unfortunately we're going to have cars around. Very busy today, lots of people out and about, and of course, look at that sun. Why wouldn't you want to be out? Beautiful. Right, so we did the walk around. I've gone through most of the facts and figures. I've gone through the way the brakes are set up and suspension. I've gone through a bit about the chassis and its weight. So let's talk about the feel of it, just initial feelings then. So when you get on this bike, I thought perhaps it would be a bit heavier than it is. In terms of just getting on, does it feel heavy? And it really doesn't. So very, very light. And I think a lot of that is contributed to the fact that KTM redesigned the fuel tank. So you've got a bit down there, and you've got the vessel in the middle there. 23 litre tank it is. So as mentioned, the bike when fueled is going to be approximately 240 kg. So it's not massively heavy, but it feels very light as well. A lot lighter than I thought it would be. Even I was a bit intimidated by this bike, thinking it was going to be heavy, and it's not. It's very well behaved. It's very easy to get on with. For a taller, larger rider, yes, I say it all the time, I'm a bit porky these days, very, very comfortable. It's a great layout. It feels super nice, in fact. You know, I've got my arms in a lovely position there. It's not too overstretched. I'm not leant down too much either. Yeah, no, really, really comfortable. The seat, I rode it away from the garage in its lower position, by the way, and I'll put the stats up on the screen so you can see. But this is the higher position, which I think is 869. And yeah, no, to me actually this is perfect. It was too low before, and it was like another 20mm lower. But yeah, it's super, super comfortable. The seat is actually really lovely. It's this suede finish on it, and I think for me being a slightly larger person, actually it's super comfortable for my derriere. I quite like it, to be honest with you. It's very, very nice. Just a bit of feedback, I guess, actually about this seat then in comparison to my bike, which is a S1000 XR. The seat is so much better. Honestly, the seat is so much better. I love my bike, but I'm just being honest, you know, that seat is pretty naff and this seat is really comfortable. So yeah, comfort wise on this bike, I think you're going to get on with it really, really well. Now, I won't remember them all, but as I said, there is 11 different options for seats. 11. So you get the dual height adjustment as standard anyway. So if you are, you know, taller or shorter, you can kind of adjust it to suit really. And even the foot pegs have got 2 adjustable settings as well as standard. So I think that's an adjustment of 10mm. So you can really get it to fit. But with the additional 11 options for seating, some of them are heated, some of them are cool seats, slimmer, fatter, you name it. Have a look on the website when you're doing your build. But you can really get everything dialed in exactly how you want it to be. And I think that's really important if you're going to spend this kind of money on a bike. So just initial feel then and comfort is very, very good. The brakes, although we're not exactly in an environment to go nuts with them, they're Brembo styling calipers. They're absolutely incredible. You guys know this. They're absolutely awesome. I've done some video testing on my channel as well, so yeah, they are very, very good. But I'm just going to put it down again and just show you, because there's nothing behind. But if we need to stop in a hurry, I can assure you there's nothing stopping you stopping. You've got tons of grip, and the responsiveness from the brakes is incredible. So that kind of brings me on to the gadgetry then, a bit of the electronics. So you've got a 6-axis IMU on this bike, comes with it normally, you don't have to add it in, and that obviously is working with your ABS system. So you've got cornering ABS in addition to standard, and you've even got off-road ABS as well, and traction control and off-road traction control, so you can really use this bike to its full extent if that's what you're planning on doing. And I think that's fantastic. I think to get all of that technology for this price point is very, very good. Now you can also get an anti-dive feature. Now this particular bike doesn't have it on it, so I can't demo that to you today, and there's an auto leveling feature as well. But I guess depending on what you want to add to the bike to make it your own, depends on what pack you're going to go for. But I think it's the Tech Pack Plus. I'll do some features on the screen so you can see. But if you go for that pack, I think for the most part it's going to give you everything you could possibly think of, and I think it's about 1,800 quid. So like I mentioned, this bike starts at 14,999. Add the pack on, and compared to some of its rivals, and again we're going to be doing tests on those in the very, very near future, like next weekend, I think it's great. You get a lot of bike for the money. I mean, styling wise, this bike is beautiful. I mean, it is beautiful. Comfort wise, as I've mentioned, in my opinion, it's really comfortable. I mean, honestly, it is ridiculously comfortable. You can go adventuring on this all day and absolutely no problem whatsoever. Engine wise, it's the LC8 by KTM, so it's a V-twin. You've got 160 horsepower and you've got 138 newton meters of torque, and honestly it's very well behaved, so don't be afraid of it, but it is pretty much instant. And you've got ride-by-wire throttle here as well, so it's very responsive, but it's very precise. So don't be afraid of the torque of this bike, because with all of the electronics that it's got on its side for you, working for you, you've got the very best in the game. You've got the great power there. You've got great economy from what I've seen so far. You're averaging getting around 45, 50. So great comfort, great power, great stopping power. Technology is absolutely brilliant. And in terms of that screen, so the 7-inch TFT, it's definitely right up there with some of the best ones that I've seen. If not, I might go as far as to say in terms of its resolution, certainly alone, that's probably the sharpest one that I've seen. It is incredible. I mean, if you can see it from here, I'll do a tactical zoom. It's really sharp, and the refresh rate is really good. It's not laggy, so the system and CPUs they've got running it are very, very good. So this is where my bike and a lot of bikes are different to the V-twin. I was in 5th gear back there and toying with 2,000 RPM, and the bike still pulls, and I don't have to worry about it. If I put it into 4th, we could probably get down to 2 with no drama whatsoever. But look, 2.5, 3,000 RPM. It's made a bit of distance there. Watch this pickup, look. Oh my word, that's like a 20-mile-an-hour leap in the blink of an eye. I really wish I had this bike for longer. I do, because we could do a lot more with it. KTM, if you're watching, growing channel here, up and coming YouTuber, would love to do some work with you guys. Especially an off-road course if you've got one. Yes please, yes please. So yeah, awesome power, awesome comfort, technology is brilliant. You can adjust the rider modes on the fly, like we said as well. You can adjust the suspension, and with this button here you can customize it as well. So you might want to have that as your riding mode, engine mode, or potentially change your ABS setting, and you can do it just at the touch of a button there, which I think is really smart. You get a wee bit of distance here. Look at this weather today. Oh my word, it is glorious. This is a 40, but it's going to go into a 30 imminently. We'll give it a bit more on the roads coming up, but yeah, the engine is very, very good. Right, so just to show you how impeccable this engine is and how smooth, so barely 2,000 RPM. That guy wasn't looking. Second gear, I just don't need to change much there. On my bike I'd be going through the gears a lot more because not a lot would happen before 6,000 RPM. Hey chap, don't need to change down as much. I'd be in first on my bike, otherwise it wouldn't really pull away that much. But yeah, super smooth. Now this bit is national down here, so I'm going to give it a tiny bit of acceleration, guys. Hold on. Now I've got to be honest, I was a little bit of a chicken there. I probably did, I don't know, a third of the throttle. Here's a bit more. Oh, that is brilliant. I love that noise. The exhaust is quite, you know, it's got quite a decent sound to it for Euro 5, because not all manufacturers are the same these days. Everyone's going for Euro 5 of course, but some exhausts are just very muted, and you get a nice little bike from that. So yeah, don't think you'd have to suddenly change it, although there is a very sexy lineup of aftermarket exhaust for this bike. Oh, it's lovely. What weather for it. We've been so lucky today to have this. Absolutely gorgeous, guys. So I mentioned some of its competitors then. I guess it would be fair to bring them up. You've got the Multistrada V4S, and you've got the GSA from BMW, and I'm doing one of those next weekend, so we'll see how it compares. Hey chap. And you know, I think each to their own, and don't get me wrong, I don't think price is the only factor you should consider. You know, the aesthetics of course, the brand, everyone's going to like what they like, no doubt about it. But I do think with KTM they've priced this really aggressively, so you get a huge amount of bike for the money, because even if you added that £1,800 pack, this is still probably almost £2 cheaper than some of its competitors of the same spec. Okay, so if you were going to get new leathers, if you wanted to customize it a bit more, if you wanted to get that Acura exhaust set up for it, you've got some change for it, you know. Just food for thought, you know, each to their own, but just food for thought. As the channel continues to grow, hopefully we'll get a few more long-term type setups so we can do a bit more with it, because I would like to do a bit more of a deep dive of the features of this bike for you and actually show you it. I think that's valuable. Hopefully you've got from it what you need to today, and of course you guys know me, so any questions, the door's always open. Let me know in the comment section what you want to talk about. Contact us on Facebook, no problem, I'll get back to you guys, we'll talk about it. Just talking about that transmission then, I did say I would recommend getting that quick shifter. It's a 350 quid add-on on its own, so you could just get the Super Adventure S at 15k and add that on. If I was going to do it, I probably would get the tech pack to go with it, just get all the toys, might as well. But yeah, it's very, very responsive. The slipper clutch combined, yeah, really, really smooth. So yeah, the slipper clutch actually works when you've got the throttle open as well, so it will help you if you've got a bit of throttle still open, just to make sure you don't do any wheelies. Not that you would want to do that, of course. But yeah, the overall feel of it is you know, very mechanical but smooth. Lovely shifts there. Do you know what? We haven't even really taken it up into the high rev ranges, but I almost feel like with this bike you don't need to, and I guess it depends on what kind of riding style you prefer, whether you like a wind it up buzzy type ride, which originally I thought I liked. but you quickly realise that you go through the gears a bit more, and where you just want to kind of relax and have torque to pull out of corners with ease, unless you are winding it up and in that buzzy kind of range, you don't have it as much. So they're very different riding styles. So I think this is really, it's quite relaxed, you know, I almost dare to say civilised. You know, it has its monster mode, don't get me wrong, but if you just want to ride around and enjoy it, it is superb. It's very, very smooth. The power delivery is great. The gearbox is sharp. It's smooth as well. And when you know that you've got all of those safety features working for you in case you need them, and even the radar cruise control as well, it's absolutely superb. I mean, it's an incredibly well-spec'd vehicle, incredibly well-spec'd bike, and very well priced, I think. I think if you're looking at an adventure bike, you would be doing yourself a disservice if you didn't at least check one of these out. Ultimately, it might not end up being for you, but definitely check it out. Just to mention as well, actually, for you guys that will be doing longer journeys, KTM have extended the drive, so it's got overdrive in 6th gear. So, because some bikes have suffered with this, where the gearing's not quite right, you get a bit of vibration, you know, it's just not as smooth. So KTM have thought about it. You've got overdrive in 6th gear, and you know, yeah, for longer rides that's going to come in really handy. It won't fatigue, it'll be nice and smooth, and it's just good to know, I guess. Right guys, so just to summarise then, before we get back, handling wise, absolutely superb. Not what I expected from an adventure bike. It's very capable. Of course we haven't done any track stuff, so I can't really say what it's like for that, but in terms of general road usage, impeccable. Handling is superb, doesn't feel big and heavy, feels very nimble, very responsive. The engine, bags of power, bags of torque, so much torque, honestly, you won't get bored of that. Comfort wise, yeah, superb actually. It'd be interesting to know what some of the other seats are like, but this one is very, very good. I'd have it in a higher position, and you've got those two to change from as the bike comes, so you can adjust it to suit. Same as the 2-step foot pegs as well. Feature wise, it's absolutely jam-packed. You've got pretty much everything you could ever think of on this bike. You've got app connectivity, Bluetooth connectivity, music for headsets. Yeah, absolutely superb. Turn-by-turn navigation as well when it's paired. Charging point, keyless ride, ride-by-wire. Yeah, guys, it's pretty much got it all. So we're back at P&H now, so I just want to say a massive thank you to Paul, Marcus, Chris, and all of the team actually at P&H. It's been great to see you guys again, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to take the bike out. My reviewers, I hope you liked the review. Let me know what you think in the comment section. It'd be great to hear what you think about the bike. It brings us to the end, so as always, thank you so much. If you like the video, don't be shy to give it a thumbs up, that really helps. And as always, stay safe, have fun, and I'll see you on the next one.